Okay, so we're
recording.
good. Check
recording.
over there. Just double check.
We good on this one?
Yeah, you're for sure good on microphone 1. Talk microphone 2.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right,
and then
I hear it here and there, but I think
the camera, is it good? This camera I just turned on.
All right. How do I look on it? Am I too zoomed in? Is it good?
No, it's perfect.
Right. Videos.
Are we gonna do this like where you turn it on, off, and on, or are you trying to roll this the whole time? I've never ran it consistently. I mean, it's got a full charge. I charged it before I left.
It's got a full charge, yeah. Last time you killed the battery, so
yeah.
It's got 34 minutes of video time, so.
So turn it on the whole time, or just like when you feel like you're gonna say something?
Yeah, just leave it on, and then I'll just hit record.
Okay, dope. The record button's right here.
All right. Okay. All right. Let me fix this. There we go. I vaguely hear it, but we're good.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, how do we look? We look good on camera over there? Did you make sure that was good? That's on?
Yeah, buddy.
1,000%?
We'll check one more time.
Record. I'm telling you, bro, we're going to get an hour in and be like, dude, it was off.
That's never happened to me. Recording. All right,
dope.
Recorded 3 seconds in. And we're at 1:14 over here.
Dope, we're good to go?
Yeah, we're good to go.
All right, guys. Welcome back to Unpacking Yakking. We've got a special guest today, somebody I met several years ago. Let me tell you a little bit about it. This guy gets out on the water every freaking weekend he can. He takes his wife and kids. He's currently got the water body record of the Guadalupe bass in the Llano, right? South Llano. Okay, yeah. And there's distinction there, and he's looking to shoot for that share lunker you're still searching for, right?
Still looking for it. Yeah.
Gotcha. So this is the local legend, Thomas TX River Junkie on Instagram. There's a couple underscores in between.
But yeah.
Sweet, yes sir. So Thomas Griffin is my man, is my dude. This is the guy that we've been fishing together for quite some time.
Yeah, I want to say 5+
yeah,
or whatever.
At least 5-6 years. We haven't in a minute because all of our like favorite honey holes fucking dried up.
Yeah, dude, it's been rough, man. It's been a rough couple of years.
Dude, it has been. We finally got like about a month of so rain, and I know you've been getting back out there to some of our old spots. I was telling the guys that I've called this my finding fish era, because back then, dude, we were on them. We were locked in. We knew where they were. We knew what they wanted, and
we didn't have to worry about the flows every weekend.
No,
it was anything, always
the flooding. Like we would have to kind of go around the flooding. Like we'd have to check the CFS. Like, whoa, can we ride this? Is this
the good old days,
dude? Now it's like, is there water?
Yeah.
So, anyways, man, thank you for coming on, big dog.
My pleasure.
It's been a minute.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as you can see, guys, we're also in a little different uniforms today. And what I mean by that is we're rocking our PFD, our personal flotation device. And the reason behind that is I pitched the idea to Thomas on the over text a few weeks back, and he was like, bro, I love that shit. It's a good idea. Because we're getting to the time of year when it's a bunch of fair weather anglers getting out on the water. You have the summer's in full effect. So
recreational,
right? Kids are off, families are off, people are taking the weekend off. If you've been fishing on a lake, you understand that the summer months get extremely packed. And with that comes, of course, unforeseen dangers or really, issues that arise because of the influx of people, and then I guess the lack of doing it over and over and over. Right? Like they're not used to doing it.
Novices.
The novices. And what I mean by that, guys, is we've had I don't know if Roland can pull up. We've had like 3 or 4 deaths. We're a week out from July 4th, right?
Yeah.
Last week was the 4th?
Yeah.
Technically? Okay, so we're a week out from July 4th, and we've had some unfortunate deaths. I think there was an Army service member that passed away on Calaveras, or Bronig, one of the Twin Lakes. It's a lake that we fish heavily in the winter. There was a child, I think, that drowned at Canyon Lake, and then one more accident or incident that I can't think off the top of my head. But the thing is, guys, they weren't wearing their PFD for whatever reason. Whether it was because they felt that it was uncomfortable, whether they felt that they didn't need it, they were a good swimmer. I've done this 100 times, guys. It's not if you're gonna flip out or if you're right, Thomas. It's not if you're gonna flip, it's when.
Yeah, it's when.
And when it comes to like recreational stuff, and I've made the mistake as well. I'd be lying if I said I didn't do this. Where you get overconfident in a boat. You're like, I don't need to wear my life jacket on a boat. I don't need to wear my PFD on a boat. I'm in a boat, right?
Yeah.
But that's when the accidents happen the most, I feel like. Because I feel like, at least for me on a kayak, I'm like, oh crap, I'm on the water. I need to be safe as possible. And on a boat, you're like, legally, it just needs to be in the boat. I don't need to be on me.
Absolutely.
But guys, we got to do better. So we're going to show you today that we're going to do an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it is, and we're going to wear our PFD. And it's not uncomfortable. It's part of the process. And that's what we're hoping to push out there. That, I mean, if we can do it here in a freaking, it's like 105 today. Yeah, it's not the coolest in here right now, and we can wear it and it's no problem.
Well, it's a matter of not just wearing the PFD, it's the right one.
Yep,
you know, too. I mean, if you take that extra step, pay a little bit more for something that's more designed towards exactly what you're doing. Like these, man, they breathe wonderfully.
And they got the high back, so you can sit.
So you can sit on that chair. It sits over the frame on the back right there. It's a class 3.
Gotcha. I think that's mine as well. This is a Solquist. I've had it for years.
Yeah. So Astral. This is an Astral V8, and it's. I mean, I think of it as another tool too. Like my phone's right here.
Yeah. Oh, I like.
Bam. Quick. Take a picture of some cute little deer see on the side of the river.
Or
something like that.
Or a dope shot. Yeah. Clean water.
Real quick.
Big fish. Whatever.
Real quick, and then of course I got my NRS knife on this side, and this I spend a lot of time just grabbing this out real quick, cut some fishing line. Put it right back in. It's kind of designed more for whitewater paddling, but you see a lot of anglers taking over and getting these things because they don't have a tip to stab yourself. You ever need to cut a rope real quick, cut a fishing line, cut something loose. That's where it kind of really developed.
Yep.
But man, I mean, I use this thing. It comes off of here probably. I mean, look at it; it's pretty worn. Yeah. Other than it getting in the way of the paddle, it's probably a very important tool.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, dude, 3 times.
You can move past the getting in the way of the paddle. The pros outweigh the con.
Yeah, eventually, you're like, I just need to make a bigger stroke.
Yeah,
get it out of the way.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just become another tool. It's comfortable. It's not in my way. And like you were saying, I mean, it's not. I mean, because it does. If you really think about it, like especially right now, the rivers are so dry right now. You feel silly wearing a kayak when the water is ankle deep, in some spots. But then you get into those fishing holes, and then next thing you know, hey, something fell out of the boat and you lean just a little too far, and then you're in water you can't touch. This thing helps, man.
Yeah,
it helps keep you up. Bam, back in the boat, grab your boat, drag it over the bank, whatever. But and then another big reason I wear this is for my kids. They don't put up a single argument with wanting to wear a life jacket. Why? Because mommy and daddy do it on the river right there when we're kayaking around, all that kind of stuff. At the same time, it can be a crutch for them when they're learning how to swim. Being that, they don't understand that, their normal body flotation is completely different. They rely on that kind of stuff. So there's an importance that, there's a time where we're off to the side or whatever. We'll be, or we'll be like, my oldest daughter, Daddy, can I swim without my life jacket? Yes, but just for a little bit, and it's right here, and it's just kind of.
And that's like you're stationary, you're chilling. Yeah, it's maybe a chest deep section for her or whatever.
Not fast moving, not yet.
No flowing water, and then of course, obviously, like you can obviously teach them the difference at like a pool or something to that. Like outside of on the water on the river.
Yeah.
So I was gonna mention when you were saying the biggest thing, dude, is having one of those, and I need to get one. Like if you get in a bind, again, we unfortunately don't have enough moving water to be in that bind. But if you flipped and fell out and you're trapped somewhere, you got a kayak pull rope and it's wrapped around your leg, something like that can inevitably save your life.
Well, like you were talking about on one of the podcasts where you and Travis got
wrapped up with the boat.
Wrapped up with that was the canoe. Yeah. And like I know those stories,
No, they're real. You don't again, we were so ignorant, we were so young. We were just young, dumb, and fucking ready to go. And it fucking poured the night before, and we got on the water and it was chocolate milk. And again, we had never flipped, we had never done any of that. So we were just bullheaded, very ignorant, not like we were, I guess you could say, very ignorance is bliss in that case. And we hit that high point and flipped, and in a matter of an instant, we were keeping up a fucking canoe, bowstring wrapping around us. I was like, oh God, that was, and I'll be honest, I don't even think we were wearing PFDs. Again, we were silly, we were young, and it's now a time where you know better, do better. So guys, we brought it up because these deaths are, of course, unfortunate. Nobody's saying it was on purpose. It never is. That's the problem. It's never on purpose, right? That's the thing. It's not a problem. That's the thing. It's never on purpose, and it can be avoided, 100% avoided by rocking a PFD.
For sure.
It literally, it's not I mean, we spend 8-10 hours on the water, and I mean, I take it off maybe to jump in unrestricted once, but even then, my biggest thing is when, my wife is always like, well, you don't complain about being hot on the water. It's like, well, yeah, because I can jump in the water and then just let that soaking wet, and just kind of ride out with it for an hour till it dries out and do it over again. But still, man, having your PFD, it's a game changer. And again, we're just here to show you that it's not in the way. It's super comfortable. Now, these are going to be a little bit more on the higher end in cost. I would say, I think mine was like $90. You remember how much yours was?
Bro, I've had this thing since I think 2017. It's probably in time for a new one, but I want to say, under a couple $100.
Yeah.
And for a good one that's, outfitted properly and fitted to you properly.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, your life is worth more than $100, $200.
For sure.
So, again, guys, that's what we're trying to prove here today, or just kind of put out there that, hey, it is what it is. It's not that difficult to wear one. And guys, please, especially since more people are getting on the water, novices are getting on the water. It's fun to be on the water, man. It's summer. It's hot as hell. I get it. I want to be on the water as well, but do it safely, do it responsibly. And starting with your PFD is the number one thing. And I think you had mentioned it when I brought it up, the legality part of it. I can't get the internet to work here. Maybe I can text Mark to send it over, but I know, don't take this, take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research before just believing us. But I think in Texas, legally under the age of like 18, 13, it's required at all times, 100% of the time. It has to be on them. Cannot be inside or on the vessel. Under 13 has to be on them.
Yeah.
And then over 13, which I think is silly because a 14-year-old, I didn't weigh 100 pounds till I was in high school. You definitely, over 13, I think legally it can be on the water vessel or the vessel you're on, but wear it. Just put it on.
Yeah, I want to say I read that a couple days ago or something. After we talked about it, I wanted to refresh and that kind of stuff. Just kind of look up some random thoughts or some random facts.
Just to make sure that we were talking.
Yeah, I found that, one time on the internet. So I want to say I think I found it on a Texas game warden YouTube or something like that. But yeah.
Even still, do your due diligence.
Yeah, you definitely want to double check.
Make sure you double check before getting on the water in anything, on a boat, on a kayak, to swim, or to tube. You know what's crazy? You don't wear them tubing now that I think about it. And I mean, some of the dangers are the same. Like when you're tubing,
Bro, especially getting shot off that chute.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like down in the Como, doing that
it's everybody's
stuff.
worst nightmare growing up as a kid.
Dude. But so again, guys, wear your PFD, invest in a good one. It's not that hard. Watch, in an hour from now, we're not even going to remember we have them on.
Yeah.
And that's really what we want to show you. So,
hey, quick question. Do PFDs have expiration dates?
I don't know. That's something that you should probably look up. I think if like you have,
there's a lot of information written on the inside, and it tells you exactly what this is designed for, and what you can and can't use it for. I did not see anything about an expiration date on them. So I mean, I'm sure there's something out there, but it's not like highly looked at.
It might be like a.
But yeah, you obviously want to check your.
I mean, you'll be able to see
check.
it.
Yeah.
You'll be able
if
to
it's
see
starting to
it,
fray, if it's starting to fray, the expiration's out. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me just say this: if it's questionable, get a new one.
You gotta ask.
If you're like trying to zip it up and you're like, you know what? Just get a new one. All right?
Michael, you gotta ask.
Again, So if you gotta ask, just don't show up. So, anyways, guys, we wanted to drive that through, and again, watch. In a few minutes, we won't even remember we have him on. But I want to get to talk to Thomas because Thomas is, dude, this guy not only catches fish, not only fishes every weekend, but he does the crazy white boy shit. He does the whitewater rafting. He does the, you go to San Marcos a lot and practice at that, what's that one? Like, what's the name of it?
Oh, Rio Vista?
Rio Vista, where you were going like fucking, in a little tiny fucking, you're fucking dick and alls in a kayak, and you're just like barely over it. So, let's start with you, man. When did you start getting into water sports? Whether that was on the water in a what would you call it, like a sport kayak, or what do you call those?
Oh, a whitewater kayak.
A whitewater kayak or a fishing kayak. When did you start, man? Take me back. Where were you at?
Shoot. Okay, so I grew up. Went to high school in Bernie, and or just outside of Bernie. Went to Bernie for high school, but the Guadalupe River right down the road was is only 7 miles down the road. On the weekends, me and some friends, we started out by doing, because there's a tubing outfit out there. We used to do tubing, and then I saw people on kayaks, and I was like, you sit up, you're not.
How old were you?
Oh man, it was probably middle of high school, so I'd probably say 14, 15, right about the time your friends start driving, you're able to go do those things.
Because before that, you were into I gotta be assuming here, you were doing like BMX and shit and stuff like that. You were always like a wild boy.
Yeah,
skateboarding.
I skateboarded, and then I also I'm sorry, not skate. I didn't skateboard. I skateboarded a little bit. I've got a longboard
He's like,
now.
I'm lying.
Yeah.
But no, dude, I was into.
I do that.
I was
do
into
longboarding.
I was into rollerblading, man. I was into that inline skating, which I think it's kind of funny. Like you see a lot of them Californian kids starting to bring that stuff back. I was into that, but I ran with a bunch of skateboarders,
Nice,
so,
nice.
And then I got into dirt bikes,
Nice.
Towards the tail end of, my high school years and that kind of stuff. But yeah, during the summer months, we started doing we'd go out there and back when the Guad had water, all summer long. Like I'm not talking like 150 CFS. Dude, all summer long was like
distant
I
memories.
didn't know what we had back then.
Until it's gone.
Yeah, until it's gone, you didn't know what you had. I was
Nope.
looking through some old pictures the other day of just like July on the Guad, and it was just like crystal blue. And I was like, how is that possible?
Dude, sometimes when I get Facebook memories, I just cry.
But yeah, so we started doing that, and then we ended up getting a couple little the 8-foot sit inside kayaks, and we'd run, and there's a couple of good class 2 plus rapids out there depending on the flow.
Oh yeah.
And dude, we didn't know what we're doing. I was wearing, I'm wearing blue jeans and boots. Hey,
that was me.
Yeah,
that was me, bro.
Dude, yeah,
that was dude.
Albert still makes fun of me.
To God, when I
when
I
he tells
took him
us
for his first time, I was like, "What the fuck are you wearing, bro?"
Oh well, we never said anything
Yeah.
because we were all the same
kids.
boat.
Yeah.
And then we would get upside down, turned around in a rapid, and just soaking wet.
Waterlogged
It's like, what are we
boots.
doing? But we had a blast, dude.
Yeah.
And we started doing that for a couple of years, and then I want to say it was 2011 or so. My parents, for my birthday, bought me a 12-foot, or maybe it was a 10-foot trophy beach, Dick's Sporting Goods special. It had the rod holders behind, but it was a sit inside. Had little Tupperware,
So
dry
2011,
hatch.
how old were you? You were in high school. When did you graduate? Technically, I guess.
06.
Oh, okay. So I graduated in 10, so 4 years apart in that sense. So
Yeah.
you were 2011. So you were what, in college or going to college or at that age?
I didn't go to college.
No,
man.
not go to college. Okay, I make everybody go to college on this podcast. Oscar,
dude.
I was like, yeah, you went to college, right? So you were what, 20?
Yeah, I would say it was somewhere around there, but there was a good gap because I had those little sit inside kayaks, and my wife went to San Marcos, and so we would go there. I'd go there every weekend, and we'd bomb the San Marcos, just having a blast all the time. And then my parents got me a boat with rod holders in it, and I was like, this is cool.
Hey.
And it was back in those TKF days,
Yeah.
where it was just on a forum, and then YouTube started to be more of a popular thing. I'd watch
For
people
fishing.
I'd watch people paddling around and fishing, either lakes or whatnot. And then but being that the river was down the road, I decided to I was like, oh well, because I started kayaking first, but and then I was like, all right, I want to take a fishing pole with me, and then we were just throwing just little, crankbaits or whatever
Dude.
through some of the riffles and rapids and stuff, and just catching tiny little fish. Never caught anything big, but we were having a blast, dude. And I was like, this is fun.
You were building core memories.
Yeah, exactly.
You really were.
Yeah, so I mean, it kind of, and then it just progressed from there, and I think it was 2014 or 15. I bought a Jackson Cruise angler, which is their 10-foot version. Had a high-low seating on it, had that framed chair, and I was like, this is a game changer. Started carrying GoPros with me. Got those.
So that was 15-ish, you said?
Yeah, somewhere
I want
around.
to say we started kicking it like 17, 16, 17.
Yeah,
it
well,
was real close.
17 is when I got my Kusa.
Okay.
So yeah, 17 is when I got that Kusa, and that's when I think it really started to become, popular.
Yeah,
but
I tried to tell him that all the time, that we got to see kayaking, and I say we do, all of us had a part in helping grow the sport.
Yeah.
But especially down here in South Texas. But it's crazy to see, right? It go from like just something you did with like your buddies to where it became this like community.
Yeah.
Like a big community out of nowhere, where like TG Canoe, and I didn't even mention this at the beginning, you're with TG Canoe, right? Technically, you're with Crescent Kayak. I don't know how that works, because I know they sell Crescents, but I don't know, are you on the team with Crescent, or are you on the team with TG? Is it the same? How does that work out?
I'd say unofficially I'm kind of with Crescent, but yeah, I'm with TG for sure.
Gotcha. But bringing them up, they just blew, they ACK fell, and then they took over that spot. Now there's a new player in town. It's called No Bad Days in San Marcos. There's a new kayak company coming out.
Oh, okay.
It's called No Bad Days. The owner of the shop here was like, yeah, the guy's cool. He's fucking hooking it up. I was like, hey. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so anyways, they blew up, and I feel like the sport blew up, and I mean, we got to see that from...
Yeah, well, I mean, to drag it back a little bit, when I first got that like sit inside kayak or whatever, we started doing, camping trips, because I had more room to haul stuff, and so we would do camping trips on the quad. And then one of my buddies went out and bought the original Kusa.
Okay.
And
what year was that? Do you remember when they came out originally?
Man. It was probably like 11, 12 years ago, something like that. And he and then, because Drew Gregory built that boat, the original Kusa with Jackson. And then he was like, bro, you got to check out this YouTube video. And it was called, I think it was called The Devil's Beauty, that Drew Gregory made like 12 years ago on the Devil's River. And that was like before the Devil's River really got like an uptick. And we watched it. I didn't know that river existed. And I saw that, watched that video, and it changed my whole idea of, what my new hobby was going to be. And we took that sit inside kayak all the way out to the Devils, and we did like a 4-day trip. And I just remember getting on that river, and like the flows were good, and it was just like small hole, rapid. And I was like, every good rapid I was dumping, because I was gonna sit inside kayak. I was taking water over the hole, and I just remember I'm like 2 hours into this trip, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? Like, I feel like I'm not even in Texas. Like the gradient.
You saying this was your first time ever like doing a run?
Well, doing like a wild run.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like clear water, no service, out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, you're miles from civilization, and that was, and all of that just kind of compounds on top of you. And you're like, what am I doing out here? But it was just, it was thrilling. It was thrilling. And then, I haven't been back to the Devils in a while. It kind of really turned me off when, you hear people telling about how, it's when I first went, we went 3 days without seeing a single person.
Oh, now it's all capitalism.
Dude.
It's you can launch. I could be wrong. I don't remember, and I haven't been to the Devils in several years, because again I had the same sour taste in my mouth. I fucking hate the Devils, honestly, because it's like the Comal.
It's still.
I think it's that each outfitter is allowed 12 launches a day. I think there's like 5 outfitters. So you do the math. You could technically legally launch like 60 motherfuckers in one day. Like, and that's great. It's just, when we did the Devils, we ran into, so they were like, yeah, we launch people 4 hours at a time. Like that's gonna fucking matter, right? So we launch, and a few hours later we run into the group in front of us.
Yeah.
And they're all about to hit Dolan. And honestly, dude, it's crazy, because I don't know if you talk to anybody on the water when it comes to the Devils or anything, like just people out there. A lot of these guys are like, it was their first time ever on a kayak.
Right.
And I'm like, what? Like, I feel like I'm a seasoned kayak angler. And dude, when we got up to Dolan's, you feel the power of that water, and you kind of had to get out before you get fucking sucked in. And I'm like, if I've never, I remember the first time I took him on the water, I can only imagine if he just didn't realize the strength of the water and got sent over Dolan Falls. Like, and these guys that we ran into, they were like, "Yeah, we just graduated college. We just decided we just started to do a boys trip." And like, then later on, we got to Indian Falls, and they all dumped, and it was right before dark, and it was like 31 that night, and it's just not like people. I mean, people really don't understand the dangers of some of these things.
Especially they get shit faced.
Yeah,
all those bros get super shit faced.
Yeah, dude, it's our fucking college trip, and it's like, bro, you're gonna die.
I'm gonna see you on a shirt, bucko.
It's gonna be your last trip, bro. Like, it's fucking nuts. So that's cool, man. So you did the Devils, and then after that, you haven't been back because you've been turned off. And I feel the same.
I did it. I've done it like probably 5 or 6 times. So, but yeah, I saw it progressively as the years went on.
Go downhill.
Yeah, and I was just like, man, I don't know. It's not worth the logistics to get all the way out here to feel that same. Like, I guess I was trying to chase that same feeling of that first time. Yeah, I was trying to chase that feeling that first time of being there, and it just wasn't the same. And I was like, well, maybe I should just stick closer to home. And then life all came together. Got married, kids, all that kind of stuff.
Just a random side note. My wife's always fucking looking this shit up. But the love languages, they came out with 2 more, and the 2 new ones are the one that I'm gonna bring up. It's called shared new experiences. And when she explained to me, I was like, oh, I feel that. Like you just mentioned, that first time you did it, and the people you did it with, it's like that love that y'all had to, like the boys and I when we did our Pecos trip, bro. We're gonna be chasing that monkey forever because it was fucking insane. It was crazy cool, everything about it, right? And it's never gonna feel the same. It's never gonna feel because it's not gonna be new.
Because it's not unknown.
You're
exactly. Like, I've been there before.
It's called just a shared new experience, and we were all just like, holy! It was like our Super Bowl. That's how I describe it. But that's cool, man. So you're what you said 2015. You get into Coosa, and then after that, we kind of link up in the like 16, 17 time frame, and then I mean, what
I think it was the river bassin that really kind of brought you, Manny, and y'all's whole little squad together to my radar, I guess. And it started, social media started being more and more, and then there were those niche Facebook groups and that kind of stuff, and then of course like Eric started the whole Hill Country. Yeah.
Oh, Solero.
Yeah. He started the whole Hill Country.
Hill Country Kayak Fishing.
What was it? Yeah, Hill Country Kayak Fishing page, and then we were doing tournaments on there, just like online tournaments that he was running, and that got. But I entered into the what was it, the river bassin, but I couldn't touch where y'all were at.
Oh, dude, we had a bone to pick with the guys in Austin.
Yeah, no, I was like, well, it's cool and all.
yeah. We when you tell me or our group of friends that there's something you can't do, we're gonna do it. And I just remember like it was yesterday. They were like, y'all boys can't keep up with us.
No, I remember the beef. I was in the back just I mean,
I loved it. I love a good competitive spirit. And honestly, with us, dude, it was all love. I felt like when we fished, it was just like fucking. We were just like, oh shit, look at this fish, look at that. And we were doing like really beautiful water. Yeah, and I think that's where it was like, dude, okay. Yeah, I just remember, man, having no kids and then fucking having no like real responsibilities and shit. Like we were just, dude, I can't even like. I just wish, we reminisce back. Okay, we're gonna do this run this week, and maybe 3 weeks from now we'll do this run. Yeah, and it was just cool because it was new, but it was close. It wasn't like we were going to the Devils or the Pecos or crazy far. So man, it's awesome, dude. We had a lot of fun, and that's why I was telling him, I was like, man, I really want to get Thomas on because he's got a lot to talk about. I know that he does. He's a family man, so he's not only been in the water and experienced the love for the water like he's passing that on to his kids, and I think that's fucking super cool, man. I can't wait till Cicely gets old enough to get on a kayak. She's already fucking a ram, just goes headstrong into everything.
That's awesome.
So I already know she's gonna want to be like, let's go, let's hit the rapid, just like her mom. I remember there's a rapid that we have both done in a place that will remain undisclosed. Where I remember I used to walk it, and I was like, "Fuck that!" And my wife went with me one time. She's like, "You're pussy," and just fucking bombed it. And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm gonna have to hit it now."
Yeah.
So man, that's cool, dude. So when I guess so, that's more of your kayak, your fishing.
Just out of curiosity, how do you classify the rapids? You said class 2 rapids.
Yeah,
earlier.
he would know.
Yeah.
They're usually classified by people, you know, previously who have some sort of a whitewater experience to it. I only know that just because of there was a web page. I don't know if it's still around, but it's called southwestpaddler.com.
Yeah.
And they have like a breakdown of like every river in the Southwest that's like you know, kayakable or canoeable and that kind of stuff. And I think they got all this beta back in like the 90s probably. And it's kind of wild. They go on there and like look at pictures of you know, some rapids and some, you know, river banks of like what it looked like, you know, 20 plus years ago.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody out there that knows, but exactly like how the classifications come to be. But I mean, it's a whole range of just like categories.
CFS.
Like I mean, like one rapid can be a class 3. Like, so Dolan Falls, they call that one, I think, a class 3, but it's got class 5 consequences, which means if you get...
You're gonna die, bucko.
which means that, like, if you get hurt, there's no quick evac, you know? So, I mean, there's
That's
different...
a great way to put it.
There's
It's a class 3, but a class 5 consequence. I'm gonna start using that in real life. The way you acting right now got class 5 consequences. Hey, are you asking us these questions? You're the guy off camera. You're supposed to be the fucking on the computer.
Shit, you're the one with the computer.
We don't have fucking internet, dude.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's a good question. We'll look that up and maybe cut it in. But
Do you ever follow Narvors?
Who?
Narvors, GNARVIVORES. Let me just make sure.
I think I do.
Yeah, it's basically
He
just
just-
whitewater.
Yes, carnage. Yes.
Yes, bro. Look.
Yes. Oh, dude, I love that page. I share a lot of their reels, and like his stories are great because I don't know where he procures this stuff, but yeah, dude.
That's class 5 consequences right there.
that's hilarious.
Oh yeah, dude, getting washing machined.
Oh, bro. Albert, all the times I flipped, those were class 5 consequences.
Yeah. Dude,
Might have been level 1, class 1, you know, rapids,
I
but
don't
they're
even think
class
it was
5.
class 1.
It was class 5 consequences for his camera that one time, man.
Bro.
Oh,
the
dude,
last time
that hurt so bad.
The last time
That
he
hurt so
technically
bad.
flipped with me was, I think we were fishing on the Guad, and it was like not even moving water, and I think you just weren't paying attention, and he
It was a spider.
he like looked up, and you know the low hanging trees.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Oh!" I turned back, and he's like in the water, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Bro,
All I saw was just a big spider, and I freaked the fuck out.
Dude.
that's hilarious." So when did how do you decide? Like, damn, today I want to do whitewater stuff, or today I want to fish. Like, what is it pulling on your heartstrings? Like, you give up one for the other? Like what makes you decide, like, okay, today for this weekend I'm gonna go fucking whitewater, go to San Marcos and practice that, or how do you differentiate?
Recently it's been easy to differentiate because I mean there ain't no water, you know.
Yeah,
back in those days when I and that was kind of how I started getting into whitewater, is, you know, when I would go to San Marcos to go see my
Visit your-
girlfriend, or my wife, my girlfriend at the time. You know, we would play around at Rio Vista, and I saw these guys in these little boats, and I was like, dude, what are we doing here? And I watched them play around in the waves and surf it, and then go upside down, roll back up, and I'm like, that is cool. Like, I was like, I need to do that. And so I went on. I don't know how I found this kayak, but I found, you know, a vintage Dagger RPM, which is like back in, I guess, like probably late 80s, early 90s, like. That was the cool boat to have. It had a real sharp tail. You could throw it under the water, and you could stand it up, which is what's called squirting the boat.
Nice.
And yeah,
Yeah, I'm a pro squirter.
it's called a stern squirt, or you could turn it around.
Awesome.
I'm good at stern squirting.
Y'all getting me in trouble over here. But
So it's called a stern squirt. What is that? Straight up?
Yeah. So it's just sticking that tail end in, and it's basically popping a wheelie on a kayak. And then like sometimes it'll pop you so high that it'll throw you over backwards. You'll be underwater. You know, you can roll back up.
How do you don't
could
ever get
surf.
scared?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But you've got, I mean, so your dry skirt that you snap around the cockpit edging has a handle, and you can, it's just an eject. So when you're upside down and you can't roll back up or something, you pull that, you swim.
We have to like figure out different terminologies now. Where it's 2023, we aren't using the word squirting, edging.
That's fucking funny. Wait, who the fuck was making these names?
Pulling out.
Yeah, you just pull out. You just eject. You just edge.
Oh, God.
Squirt all over. That's funny, dude. That's hilarious.
I'm sorry, dude. It's
Sorry.
just like the whole time I was like,
Dude, his comedy brain was taking over. That's fucking awesome. So cool. So, dude, I am way too scared to get into any of those. Like the way you just said, you got to fucking strap your waist in. Nah, hard pass.
Yeah,
dude.
bro,
I'll watch
I'm
you, though.
terrified.
I'll watch you. I'll cheer you on, bro.
Oh,
I don't think
yeah.
I could get in it though. So you started doing that when you went to go visit your girlfriend at the time, wife now,
Yeah.
and you were just like, "Fuck, that's awesome. Let me get into that." So
Yeah.
you got the dagger, and then what?
And then yeah, I started going. Well, I started at a pool with, you know, you put on a pair of goggles, you wear a PFD so that you can. It helps keep you, you know, buoyant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so if you do flip over, you know, your body immediately goes towards the surface, and you can, you know, you can initiate that roll a little bit better.
Gotcha. So it's like with anything, you practiced. Huh?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
get
yeah.
in the pool,
Yeah.
and you practice in a controlled environment.
Exactly. A lot of YouTube videos. Watched
Gotcha.
a lot of YouTube videos on people, you know, kind of giving instructions on how to use your paddle, you know, as an extension of yourself. Because you see a lot of people when they go through a rapid, their immediate reaction is to let go of the paddle and grab the side of the boat, you know, or brace yourself or something like that. Use that paddle, reach out, grab yourself, push yourself back up. And I kind of over the years have started to like transfer that to my kayak fishing. And you know, so I mean, you can utilize that. It helps get you into more eddies when there is, you know, and you're in a flowing water and that kind of stuff. You can exit out of a current, catch an eddy, cast into those spots, and that really kind of started to capture me and get my attention. I was like, you know, it's like it adds another level to, you know, what
like being a kayak angler on the water.
Yeah, that beautiful chaos that you talk about.
Yeah, like,
you
dude,
know?
I love rapids because it's like, you know, you obviously, you know, I can't even name how many rapids we've done, right? They've been big, they've been small, they've been scary, they've been easy, but it's cool to come up on one and find the V, find the line, and then in the moment, it's just time on the water. Like I try to coach, you know, whenever you have like somebody new and you try to coach them, like, hey, reverse is your best friend in a rapid, and they're like, huh? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's kind of being on the water. You know, you feel your boat, and then knowing your boat, right? Knowing your boat, knowing the limits, knowing like, okay, shoot, I'm with the thing about the boat I ride with is a bona fide is I know I'm not gonna flip. I'm gonna bail before anything because it gives you that extra like 3 to 5 seconds to make the decision to like, all right, I'm gonna hop out because
you find that secondary edge, and then once you get past that secondary edge, it's like I need to get off this boat so that everything else stays on the boat.
Yeah, and the bona fide will fucking get back right and then go and do whatever it needs. And sure, it may tumble, whatever, but it gives you. I like that it gives you that 3 to 5 second when on an experienced angler or a kayak angler. That's an eternity. If you have an extra 3 to 5 seconds to determine whether to bail or stick with it, that's all you need. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, I can fix this. I can correct this, or I can't. Let me just get out and then I'll fix it after the fact.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about the boat I ride. But like you were mentioning there, man, it's just knowing the rapid, and what's cool is, you know, we'll send him down, and then he gets set up in the perfect shot to get like fucking epic footage of like bombing a rapid.
I like to believe that, but in reality, I think they're trying to send me down to see if I'm gonna fucking flip.
You're the guinea pig.
Yeah, it's
They're
like, hey,
all
dude,
right,
just go
all
set
right.
up the shop over there.
Yeah. Oh, did you see him bump off that rock? Okay, let's just stay away from that one.
That's funny. That's hilarious, dude. Man, but it's cool, man. Whenever you find a group of guys you trust or like a guy that you can go with, and I mean, you know, you're there to like be each other's like backup, and you know, make sure everything gets, you know, everybody gets home safe, right? We have kids now. But
y'all motherfuckers got kids. I don't.
So we
no wonder
kids.
you're sending me first.
Yeah, dude. So we, you know, oh well, he's got a dog somewhere, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, man, that's cool, dude. So you were like, shoot, if I learn and get good at this, I can add that into a skill set on the water for fishing.
Yeah, I don't think I actually thought of it that way, but at some point they kind of crossed paths, and you know, And yeah, running and like now it's like, yeah, when the water comes up, like I almost don't want to get my whitewater kayak out. I just want to like put the fishing rods down and just go run it in my fishing kayak, just because like I can surf it a little bit. I can play around. I can find those I can find out everything I need to know about my boat. Like when I first got my Shoalie that I'm in now, it was probably a couple months ago.
And that's the Crescent.
Yeah, that's the Crescent Shoalie. Yeah, cool. That's Drew Gregory's new boat. A year ago, I got my 17 Coosa was done, and so I was like, wow, and I had been in the market for probably a year or so.
Look,
and then I bought.
It's okay. You could just say waxing. I get it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
But well, dude, I picked up a Jackson because I liked where they came from a whitewater. They started whitewater kayaking, and
the original guy's not even with them anymore, correct?
Yeah, and that was kind of my falling out. They went into a bigger corporation. They stopped being more about what they started out being. Like they when they started out, I mean, Eric Jackson started making a kayak that was small because they didn't have any whitewater boats that were small enough for his kids when they started paddling.
Was it Eric Jackson was more of a sport, like a whitewater guy first?
Yeah, he started off whitewater.
Gotcha.
He was a whitewater guy. I mean, he was an Olympic paddler.
Okay.
He did the gates and all that kind of stuff.
Damn, bro, this is nothing like Manny. Manny's the exact opposite. He's sponsored by them.
But but he talks about, when he was a kid, he was into fishing, and then they eventually reached past that whitewater and recreational boating and started making specific, and Drew Gregory kind of helped in that. They started making the Cousas, and they started realizing, and then when it kind of took off as a big mainstream sport, I guess eventually he just got kind of pushed out for whatever you want to call it, unofficially, officially, whatever. But it's turned into more of a corporation. They started, going more towards,
heavier set guys like Manny.
Well, heavier boats, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And more.
Fuck, dude.
I mean, just
boats are fucking.
They're Swiss Army knives. There's just so much to them. I wanted a simpler platform. And and then I saw Crescent had the light tackle one, and I bought that like spring of 22, and I loved that boat because it was simple, wasn't a whole lot to it, had a high seat, had I could stick my paddles, my paddle and my rods all inside the boat, everything stayed in there, and that was great and wonderful. And then started sharing a bunch of my pictures with them. And they really liked it. They reached out to me, and that's when they were like, "Hey, let's get you into this. Let's do this." And they've really helped out. And they're just such a great company to work with.
Awesome.
I would say you fit the. If there was anybody that Crescent was like, is there a guy that needs a smaller boat but wants to fish out of it, but catches fish, but rides rapids, explores? You're the guy. So you're the guy for them. So that's good that y'all linked up. And man, you literally. You're the target market for the Crescent, and the way that they reached out to you, it's the perfect kayak for you, man.
Yeah,
literally, dude, Crescent and you are like one and the same. I see it when you're out on the water. I'm like that's a Thomas boat,
dude. And that boat,
you know what I mean?
That boat is awesome.
Yeah.
That boat is awesome. I don't know. Like I said, Drew personally reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, man, you're one of the first people I thought of for this boat. Let's get you into this boat."
Gotcha.
And
Who's Drew?
Drew Gregory. He's with Crescent now. He started the whole Coosa line of
used to run river bassin.
Yeah, he did the river bassin stuff, all that kind of stuff.
What's cool about bringing guys that I know into the pod is I like to see Roland be like, learn new stuff because in our friend group he took kind of out of context what I meant. One time I said everybody has a story and I want them to be able to tell it.
No, I was trying to prove a point.
Meant anybody. So he messages our group one day and was like, "Yo, dude, I got this guy. I met him on one of my routes. He kayak fishes." And we were like,
"It's a buddy from my school. He fishes.
Gotcha.
He runs restaurants and he's a chef." And
we were like,
I invited him onto the pod just to try to prove a point to Albert I'm like, yo, watch your words, because
I was like,
I'm gonna
who
go
is
with
that?
it.
I was like, bro, I'm talking about guys that we have known, that we've been through the trenches with over the last 5 to 6 years.
I'm still bringing my fucking friend on.
Yeah, you can. But what I'm saying is, you're running that one, because I want you to like see. I want people to like meet the guys who I feel like really helped. Like
Mold the sport here
locally, and of course, kind of kept, whether it was through the camaraderie, through the whatever, the shit talking. Whether not, I mean, I don't know how we're gonna have that, but the shit talking with the guys who pushed it competitively. But like, I feel like you are, when I say yesterday, oh, we're gonna have local legend on, like, I mean that, because you not only do the whitewater stuff, you also do the fishing stuff. You're introducing it to the next generation of the Griffins, right? So it's like, I want to show people that don't know Thomas, right? Or that don't know XYZ, because every little person I want to have on here that I'm like, do I need to have them on? They had something to do with kayaking. And I want Eric on here, but Eric didn't even have fucking time to go to the restroom with 3 kids and, where he's at. So there's so many people that I've met in the fishing world that I've been like, dude, people need to know at least a little bit about you, because you did this, you did that, and it did progress the sport in whatever means possible. And obviously, like I said, we know Drew Gregory through, like, personally, right? Like, he's fished with Eric. I've fished his tournaments. We've met. We've linked up. We've hung out. And technically, he's a competitor to somebody we've had on the podcast already, Rolando Nandin.
Yeah.
They butt heads, not in a bad way, but they butt heads competitively at these major tournaments.
Right.
So, it's just cool to, again, have people on that I feel really, one, need to have their story told, but also just really care about this as much as we do, right?
Yeah.
Because, man, when we go talk about it outside of, like, our friend group or outside our, like, fishing community, my wife and just random people are like, what do you mean you have a podcast about kayak fishing? It's like, bro, it's so deep. Kayaking it encompasses anybody and everybody from all walks of life. So he's repping the company he works for, Alamo Truck Gear. You've been with them for how long?
Working on 16 years now.
Dope.
Yeah.
And we're kind of seeing, the other thing is, we're both tied into the auto industry, right?
Yeah.
Me, my company, you working with your company. So it's like, man, it's just, again, it encompasses, yes, we're kind of like one and the same in the sense where we work with vehicles and fish on the weekends, but there's guys that fish on the weekends that are chefs, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
This
all
out
walks
of the
life,
other.
yeah.
So it's cool. So man, that's awesome. So Crescent reached out through Drew Gregory, and man, like I said, dude, your social media has definitely picked up. I see you, man. I see the views you're getting. I know you're big on the 360 camera, right? The GoPro 360.
I love the way that looks when you get it set up just right. You can't tell, and like, people straight up ask me, like, how'd you get the drone to like follow you like that?
Just tell them, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
It's good. No, it's good, dude. It's good. Those are secrets that you don't have to tell, and you can just say, hey, baby, I got a fucking badass drone. But
everybody knows about 360 cameras nowadays.
But I mean, you'll still, dude, honestly, there's a lot of people that don't know a lot about a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
When they run up into like, and what's great is social media, the algorithm has just been so like it's just awesome. Honestly, I always tell him, social media, in my opinion, is the true free market. Like, either you post content that takes off or it doesn't, and the market decides that. That's I always tell him, man, don't sit and think like, oh, is it gonna do good? Is it gonna make good shit? And it does good. Like, it is what it is. You make a good video, like, and it takes off, and you're like, okay.
And people will comment on it and talk shit. I learned that yesterday.
I told him he's got to thicken up his skin, because it's gonna happen, man. You can't don't let that shit bug you. Like, it is what it is.
Bro, last thing I need is for me to show up at the fucking mothership and be like, yo, did you post this fucking video?
Oh, that's hilarious. Nah, but dude, you're good, man. It's funny because we're always
I doubt they will listen to this.
Oh yeah.
There's always that one asshole that'll just keep spamming one person with the video, because I've seen it happen before. They'll just keep spamming it until they open, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?"
That's funny, man. Well, that's cool, dude. So moving over to the social media side, man, that's awesome. So I've seen some of the videos you're putting out, and I'm like, man, dude, Thomas is fucking, he's stepping his shit up, man. Are you doing it? I'm assuming you're obviously doing it purposely. Like, you're going out there and thinking about the content, right? That's what I've at least seen from guys who go from just like, oh, look what I caught. I always call it the typical the dad fishing video. Picture where like half the fish is not in frame, and you're just like, you know what
microphone.
I mean?
Microphone.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the dad photo. You know, anybody who goes from, you know, we've all done the dad photo, but then when you start getting into like social media, I'm assuming you think about what you're gonna do sometimes, right? Like you basically tried to take it more serious in a way.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, and it really kind of turned a page when Instagram. I mean, Instagram's literally the only thing that I do. Like,
Yeah,
I
me
never
too,
started.
me too.
I never started a YouTube.
Yep.
You know, even
Well, I
though the
did, but
pressure was there. You know, back in the heyday, and I watched it, dude. I've probably seen every single one of your videos that you've put out.
Dope.
And I was one of those guys pausing the video. Where's he at?
Yeah,
Let me
Fuck
look. Yeah, y'all. We're talking about that.
Dude.
And I was like, oh, guilty, man. I did that a couple of times.
You're trying to trick the most, you know, the smartest animal on the planet, and that's us. I mean, I say that, and people are like, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about fishing that way. Bullshit.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, it's just like, yeah, you don't know. I mean, it's like, man, do I take that gamble and drive 2 hours to that water and it not produce, or you know, wow, man, he went there. Man, let me check out what happened with him. You know, so yeah, I mean, and that's a little bit of your homework, but at the same time, yeah, like, I mean, yeah, not sharing a whole lot of the spots and doing that is doing the homework. You know,
Yeah, that is.
You know, if it's out there to be done. But yeah, when Instagram changed their whole system from pictures to
reels.
just reels, and that kind of stuff, I was like, all right, well, I feel like, you know, nobody's gonna see any of my pictures anymore. You know, and I posted a couple, and they just didn't get an engagement that they used to, and I was like, oh well, times are changing. Got to go with the times or whatever, and you know, and I was like, yeah, and then so you know, that camera got turned sideways and started taking portrait mode. You miss a lot of the action, but you know, it fills in that screen, and
that's good.
Gets eyeballs. But I mean, it's not about that. Like, I've never changed my profile to a professional one for any of those analytics or anything like that. And I feel like that kind of, when you change it to a professional thing, like, they're like, okay, he wants to pay for engagement. We're not going to show this to anybody until he starts paying.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
You're just trying to stick to
it. Yeah, and I'm just
possible.
organic, and then, you know, it's kind of like leaving a little bit of a legacy, you know, because it's like, I don't think it's going to go anywhere unless it ends up like MySpace and they just delete everything.
Yeah,
nobody knows where it went.
I think at this point, these social media giants aren't going anywhere.
But yeah, I mean, and that's, yeah, and I don't make them for anybody in particular.
No.
But people do like it, and man, I've got a lot, especially recently, I've had a lot of people be like, man, I love that you take your kids out. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was kind of, you know, like, I don't know, not nerdy, but like kind of boring to people. Like, man, I don't want to see him catch. I don't want to see him out here with his kids and them giggling and you know, do something cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, apparently that is the cool to people, and I think it's cool. So I'm gonna share it, and I'm gonna.
No, dude, I see it again. Me having a daughter, she's getting up to that. She's now 1 and 4 months now, or 15 months. So 1 and 3 months, and I mean, dude, she's already like I said, chomping at the bit to get out and just be wild. So
that's awesome.
I know that as soon as she's yakable, we're gonna have a lot more family time on the water.
There you go.
And I was talking with some buddies the other day about it. I think what you're saying is, I don't think people think that's cool. I think family, you always hear, and I hate it because it gets hijacked for political and religious reasons. You bring up family, and it's like, oh yeah, let's get back to the nuclear family. Let's get back to the fucking, 1960s family. Like, no, dude, it doesn't have to be political. It doesn't have to be religious. Family is a tribe. Kayaking is a tribe.
Yeah.
And I think people are focusing more inward on their own tribe and less outward. So I think that's why maybe some of the content you're making is taking off. And I was just, talking to, again, some buddies about it, is I do think that family is the key to true happiness, but let's not let it get hijacked by, politics or religion, right? It could just be family. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I feel like your stuff's taken off. I feel like people are like more interested in, like, I think the pandemic, some of the guests we've had on kind of attest to this as well, is it was like a hard reset for people. I think people realize like, fuck my job. Like what like not in that sense, but they're like, God, dude, what?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I want to spend time with my family.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here for I'm here for a finite period of time, and I got to spend, I don't know, at least a minimum of 14 days with my family. And that either, found out I'm gonna get divorced or made you closer than ever.
Goddamn, bro.
You know what I mean? Dude, the Kill Tony that we just watched, the girl's like, yeah, well, 6 months in the pandemic, we got divorced because we fucking hate each other.
Dude,
like,
and that happened to a lot of people.
No, I'm not. I mean, you say fuck. That's a real life. I think when
domestic violence like went up when everybody like I think that was an actual statistic.
Because it's easy to be like, I'm about my family. I go to church, blah 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 up front. But when you gotta be with your family every fucking day, all day, you're gonna find out if you really love your family or not. You know what I mean? So those people that made it through the pandemic, they see your content and they're like, bro, that guy's fucking dope. Like, he spends time with his family. Like, look at his daughters. Look at his daughters. Look at his, look at his wife. They're out there fucking catching fish, swimming, riding rapids. They're like, that's cool. So,
well, I mean, I'm not gonna post the videos of me yelling at my kids.
Yeah, of course not. Of course not. Yeah, well,
get in the fucking kayak.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
You know where we're going.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, man. And I think, and again, this is just me, bullshitting high, talking about like, I really do think family's gonna save the country, right? But let's not politicize it and let's not religiousize it. Let's just be with family, right? Spend time with family, do this, do that with family, and I think that's gonna be the thing that kind of gets us through the BS. So, and that's crazy that you said that you saw so many people get divorced through the pandemic.
I don't know that I saw that. I think it was just you would hear about it.
Yeah.
It was some Manny B statistic.
Yeah. The other day we were ripping Manny because he had like sent a video and clearly stopped watching after 30 seconds because there was another part of the video that like kind of like answered the beginning part and we were like, dog, you just fucking dunked on yourself. But nah, man, anyways, that's awesome, dude.
Let me ask you this. Have you found your tribe when it comes to whitewater rafting? Like you're talking about like your class 3 rapids with like class 5 consequences.
Yeah, dude. So
I'm assuming this was all through online, right?
Several years. Well, I would find people at Rio Vista that were there.
What is Rio Vista?
Rio Vista is the dam, the tube chute right there on the San Marcos in the middle of town, where there's 3 drops. They call it Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear, and their features are there's surfable waves that people get in there. They can do flips and turns and all that kind of stuff, and it's really like the only whitewater park. I mean, those kind of parks that are engineered where they've got drops and they kind of funnel the water in certain areas. Those are everywhere. If you go in the Rocky Mountains or in Colorado.
Were they engineered to do that, or were
they engineered the river to make perfect little rapids so that people can play boat, what they call play boating there.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know if it had to deal with like like
edge, water, squirt, do all that shit.
Fucking goddamn. I didn't know if it was like specifically engineered just like just by the way the water movement is. Like you got what I'm trying to say, just more environmental, engineered for more environmental purposes versus like actual people.
Well, they engineered it there for recreation so that tubes can go down it. I don't know that they purposely did it for kayaks, but it worked out.
Was the fucking Comal the fucking guinea pig or what?
Comal's been, I don't know when they built that, but yeah, it's
every fucking grown adult's worst nightmare right there, going down that thing.
Dude, yeah. Well, I've taken my whitewater kayak down that, and I've taken my fishing kayak down that, and both of those were fun, dude. Dude, I've never ridden that fast in my kayak before, and I was squealing like a little girl at the end, dude. It was so much fun. But don't do that now. You'll hit somebody in the head.
Bro, it's funny whenever you see all the game wardens, like I guess all the students going down that. They're all holding on to each other and they're all getting donked.
Yeah.
Looks like all of them are drowning.
That's hilarious. Dude. No, Thomas is down for a good time, bro. Go hit any rapid.
So where'd you end up finding so you found your tribe there?
Yeah, so you would meet people or whatever, and then there was a Facebook page called Rio. I think it's still around. It's called Rio Vista Paddlers, and it was a lot of whitewater boaters, and we would rally together when they were doing
the water safari.
No, not so much the water safari, but when we were getting good rains, like during the Wimberley flood and everything, when Canyon Lake filled up, Medina Lake filled up, all that kind of stuff.
Like, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, right? Something like that.
I think it was a little bit long. I don't remember exactly when that was.
When Medina went from like 5% to 4%.
Yeah.
I think
but
maybe? I remember.
They would, and they were doing like 2,500 CFS controlled releases out of Canyon Dam, and they shut it down to tubers because Canyon reached its max. They had to let water out, and then so these tubing outfits went whitewater rafting basically. Yep. And so it it was a it was something that whitewater boaters did. And so like that picture that you shared yesterday on the story of me surfing that wave, that's the lower Guad
during the control.
Yeah, at
releases.
about 3,000 CFS.
I remember
And it
that.
made this part. I've got this video of probably like 6 or 7 of us all surfing the wave, because it made a wave that was probably like, it was a straight, perfect little curled wave that went probably 30, 40 feet. And I mean, you could just everybody file out there. But yeah, we would all rally together and be like, hey, this weekend, Saturday or Sunday or whatever, hey, we're, they're doing controlled releases. We're going to get on the water. We're going to do this, and ran it with a bunch of those guys. But it's funny, like, I follow a lot of them. They've either gone west or east, and like they've really taken over the way. I didn't really fall into it as hard as they did. But
how far west or east?
Either the Appalachians or the Rockies.
Oh no! Oh, like
they went, yeah. They went
big.
hard into the
Gotcha.
whitewater,
Dope.
and I mean,
do they not have families or kids? Or
I think
some of them do.
Yeah, I kind of established my roots, and they were just kind of like, it's fluid. And then there's also that dirtbag, paddler mentality of just like, I'll quit my job and follow the water right now. And I romanticize that. But I couldn't.
Oh,
ever
dude,
do it.
yeah. Oh, it's so romanticized. Yeah, I romanticize just getting up and fishing every day for a living, but it's like, it's not the reality.
Talk to the microphone.
It's not the reality, but yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. I was gonna say, I do remember when we did have those controlled releases, like all the like whitewater, guides were coming down from like Colorado.
Oh yeah,
and they were like running, tours on the thing. You know what I'm talking about? The lower Guad.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember, like right above Green.
Yeah.
I remember you could like put in there and they'd take you and do whatever. So
yeah, right there. So yeah, we were passing all those guys in rubber while we're all in plastic kayaks. And
there was one time too, I remember on the news, I remember like it was yesterday, that like during those crazy floods that we had, there was like a group of dudes on the Pedernales. And they were like on film, like they're just like fucking woo.
Yeah, they put I know a couple of them.
Yeah, those guys are fucking gnarly, bro.
Yeah, they were like, I can't believe that they're out here, and it's like, that's not the first time they've done that.
Yeah, it's like
they know what they're doing.
It's like 1800s here, that's not that. You know what I mean? So
the Pedernales, especially like around the state park where where the falls is and everything. I mean, it has to be like good flowing water. I think it has to be over like $2,000 for it to be like good whitewater. But dude, it makes some whitewater that's like, you don't think it's like, that's not Texas.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember seeing, dude, what happened in Kingsland. They had like 250,000 CFS at one point, like all converged there, and the bridge got fucked up. The 100-year flood. The whole like topography of LBJ changed.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean,
right where the Llano dumps in, because all that water came down the Llano, washed out the Kingsland Bridge, and I mean, I remember seeing videos of that, and it was just rollers. So like, I mean, the crest of the wave and then the bottom, I want to say was like 30 feet, and it was just one after the other.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, nobody in their right mind would think about putting a boat in there.
No.
But
this was just like a spectacle.
Yeah,
to see.
but it rushed all of that granite sand down the Llano, and it actually created a giant gravel bar right where the Llano comes into the Colorado, and now it's just a giant party cove now.
Yeah, it's so crazy, right? Like literally,
because everybody beaches right there, and they just party on the sand.
Dude,
on the sand
and
beach.
that was all natural flooding that caused that. Right?
Yeah,
and that's nuts, right?
Yeah.
It literally changed the topography of the water, and I mean, like you said, now it's a fucking party cove, and like, I've seen, rich motherfuckers fly planes and land on it, and then take off and go back. Like it's nuts to see all that came from just a little bit of rain, not a little bit, a lot of rain, but it wasn't very like long of a time period. It was like a month of rain.
Yeah,
like we need that again, right? Like, we need something.
Maybe not quite as big as that,
but we do need stuff.
we do need that. Yeah,
over here trying to make nature work for us, like she cares. So yeah, man. I mean, so let's kind of progress into circle back into some of the fishing stuff. What is your favorite type of fishing to do, man? We just got off the whitewater subject. Like what type of, I know, the backwater, clean water is your go-to.
Yeah.
And I mean, is that just like I mean, a lot of people don't even realize like that. That's therapy, man. To be out on the water when it's like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I call it church.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sunday morning church. I feel like I have a video of us.
I do the same thing with jujitsu. Sunday morning church. That's what I do.
That's it. Yeah, and it's really just. I mean, it's a spiritual connection. You know, it's like that's where I feel it. You know, is like being out in the middle of nowhere, being surrounded. I mean, like you're out. You see stuff that nobody else can see. Like the other day, I saw a skunk swim across the river right in front of me, and I was like, who would have thunk it? And it gets out, and it's just wet. It looks like a nasty wet cat, and it's like shaking all the water off itself. And I was like, how many other people seen that?
Dude.
I seen an armadillo swim across the river. I was like,
crazy.
I didn't know them suckers could swim, you know?
Dude.
I didn't know porcupines swim. I didn't even know we had porcupines here in the hill
Dude,
country.
the craziest thing I've seen recently is I was doing some scouting on the Medina. Terrible scouting day because again, not there.
Yeah.
But I roll up into a section and it's just fucking stagnant, disgusting, and I see 2 or 3 raccoons swimming on the other side of this big tree, and I was like, bro, this is some nasty water, dude. Sure as shit, I get around, I get to the other side, they're swimming in a spring. So where they were swimming, crystal clear.
Yeah.
And I was like, these motherfuckers, dude, they're so smart. Like you saying, what you don't see every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw literally 3 raccoons having the time of their life, swimming, cleaning up, swimming. And I was like, dude, this water's disgusting. And then I get around the bend there. Sure enough, you can see the bubbles coming out the water and about a 5-foot radius of crystal clear water. And I was like, dude.
You also saw a cow drown.
I saw cow drown, a long time ago. That was tough. Like
Longhorn.
I came up on a rapid and I saw like a big longhorn in the middle of like a skinny rapid, and her nose was like just above the water because of her big ass horns, and she must have fell off like one of those game ranch hard slopes. And you know how like sometimes tree roots will make just a fucking point up like that. Her like just like her Achilles, whatever that is, was pinned on like. So, like, her Achilles was on this side and her bone was on this side of
Just
that.
impaled her,
yeah.
Dude.
And I called the game warden and they were like, well, not our problem. That's fucking guess a game ranch owner and figure it out. And I was like, well, I'm just going to go around it. But I have it on video. I have never released it. But I took my kayak rope off. I tied it around the cow's leg. And I could, like, lift it over. But she was malnourished. Honestly, I'm surprised coyotes didn't already get her because it wasn't her first day there.
Yeah.
It definitely looked like day 2 or 3. You know, you could just tell. She was already getting like soggy on the side. Was
Still alive?
Yeah, still alive. And I was like, well, I mean, nothing I can do. So I just kept kind of going on. But yeah, I've never released that footage. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, for us, it's like everyday stuff. But somebody would be like, oh, what are you doing with that animal? I mean, I was just trying to save it, dude. So it is what it is. But you'll run into the coolest shit and nature.
Yeah, dude.
At its craziest.
Yeah, raw nature. That's for sure. But yeah, I mean, the kind of fishing I like to do is that back in there, you know, where it's just like nothing's landscape. It's not, you know, I mean, and I get into those spots where it's like, you know, they manicured the whole bank next to somebody's little, you know, river house or whatever. But, you know, I really like getting into that wild stuff where it's just like, there's grass coming out of the water. There's overhanging tree limbs everywhere. It feels like nobody else has really been there. And then, dude, just getting smashed on top water and some, you know, thick grass, dude. Nothing beats it. Yeah. Nothing beats it. And it's just, that's the kind of fishing I do. And it's just, a lot of top water. I mean, you know, religiously have always got that toad tied on. You know, like 2 years ago, like my first one of the year was literally January 1st. I was throwing a topwater toad and I got bit. Yeah, dude. And that's just the kind of stuff you run into in Texas. And, you know, I mean, you take your conditions in it. Like I'm close to a spring. You know, the water's pretty. The water's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty normal temperature year round.
It's like a spring fed and it's 30, but the water's 65. So yeah.
But just power fishing. I used to when I first got into river fishing. It was like little, you know, crankbaits or little hard bodies. Or just, you know, throwing a little Texas rig or a Carolina. I was into the Carolina rigs, you know.
That's wild, right? To think about.
Yeah, because I'm like,
you like saw it one day and you're like, fuck it, Carolina rig it up.
Yep. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I was like, no fish is gonna want to bite the worm when there's a metal weight right next to it, you know. And then I'm like, nah, I'm getting tangled up on a lot of stuff. And then it's just now it's all just like the little Kayaker paddle tails, and jigs and top waters. You know, power fishing. It's just like, yeah, I've got ADHD. I'm not trying to stand in one spot for too long.
I think we all do. In this room.
I think we all do.
That's just the time we grew up in, I guess.
I
but
think
yeah,
I've definitely been accused of being the most power fishing guy out there.
Oh yeah, no, Albert put me to shame. We'll be out there, and we'll just be fishing. I'm like, man, does he have a meeting he has to go to? Because he's moving through this water.
Bro, it's the biggest pain in the ass when I'm fishing with him because like I'll be fishing one area. I look, Albert will be like maybe like 5 feet away from me. And next thing you know, I look up and he's like maybe like half a mile down the river.
That's funny.
And then he's like,
and
hey,
then I
hurry
turn
up.
back and he's listening to a podcast and got a YouTube video on, drone up. No, dude, it's a good time.
And then he's over there answering business calls. He's like, yeah, I could do that right now. I'm on the water, but I'll get that to you by 3 p.m.
Oh shit!
Oh, dude, I remember all those videos. It's like, yeah, so I set of heads is gonna dude.
Dude, for real, bro. That's what I'm saying, man. I was like, dude, gotta have Thomas on. He's a good time.
Dude, I remember one time when we were on the river. Fuck, I forgot what he was doing a business call as usual, but he said something very fucking sexual in the way he was just like, oh yeah, come on, baby. Like, yeah, eat that thing right there.
Eat that thing right. She choked it, bro.
He had it on speaker, and I just hear the guy go
right now, or whatever the fuck he said.
I just hear the guy go, what? And he's like, I'm sorry, my bad, man. I'm in the water.
That's even to this day. I think I was with Brandon the last time, and I was throwing a big swim bait, and it wasn't even a business call. It was for when my wife flooded the house, and I was talking to the insurance adjuster, and I was like, yeah. Big old fish took the swim bait, and I was like, yeah, all right, man, fuck, I got a big old fish on, and you just hear the fluoro bending. But man, dude, that's awesome, man. So yeah, man, there's one video that I think I forgot who it was or what. Somebody like wrote an article about this day that you and I went fishing on, and it was like 100-inch day. I mean, if I had to...
Oh, dude, that was the pig run. I remember that.
Yeah, I think somebody had wrote an article about, I don't remember what it is. I'll see.
I think that was the first run you and I ever did together.
I think so.
Because we had kind of like, we had planned that run out and talked about it several times. And then when we went, like it just, yeah, dude, it turned into a wild time. Mm-hmm. And it was like, I think it was the first time either one of you or anybody that we knew had been out there.
Out on that specific section?
Yeah.
Maybe, man. I can't remember. I remember who wrote it or what, and I'll have to find it if I can find it. Oh, here it is. mensjournal.com. Don't understand that. December 5th, 2019 is what it was. And yeah, we were out there just chilling, man.
Yeah.
Just fucking grinding. Yeah. That's so funny. I don't even know what I just thought about it right now when we were thinking about it or talking about how we fished together. And yeah, that was one of those days where it was like one of the first times we did that run. It's got like a real badass back Sweetwater honey hole, pond looking thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, dude, that was one of those days, and it was top toed type of day. It was swim bait type of day. And man, those are the days where like, dude, I wish the water levels were there. I hope all those fish survived. We'll see. Again, I'm in my finding fish era. Like there's finally kind of enough water to go back to where we used to go, but with the way the heat's been, the way the weather's looking, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna survive or what. So kind of getting towards the end of the episode here, man. Was there anything that anybody had asked on the IG page?
There's one by Gatewood Brown. It was a really, really good question. I just didn't save it in the fucking post deleted.
Oh, dude, he's
24 hours. Yeah, and I messaged him in the beginning of the episode. He hasn't responded, unfortunately. I'm so sorry.
Dang.
Dude, Gatewood's an awesome guy. If you've seen any of his videos,
the editing guy, next level.
That guy can put a video together.
He creates backpacks, right?
He what?
He made a backpack.
Yeah, he made a backpack, an underwater backpack.
Remote designs or something like that. Yeah. He's got that product line. Real cool guy. He does some wild expeditions with him and some of his buddies. Almost did a Devil's River run with him and Eric Solaria like a year or two ago, something like that. It just didn't pan out. Didn't work out. But yeah, dude, he's a cool guy, man. He's a cool guy, and he's always giving me props on my stuff. I'm like, really?
Yeah,
you think so? Like, he's like, man, it's a good edit, and I'm like, what? Yeah. Have you not seen yours?
Huh? No, I've reached out. He's a cool guy. He'll talk to you. He's a very approachable guy.
I like his backpack, man. He had it introduced it to me after like my rig got fucking dunked and there's water inside of it and all that shit. And then man, he's like, "Hey, you got to get yourself one of these, Bucko." I saw remote designs on it.
Yeah.
He's like, "It's legit. It works."
I think Manny's got one of those.
He's got one. Yeah, we're on the water when he showed it to me.
Okay. Yeah.
We've reached out to have him on, but he's in Houston, and he's just like, man, if I'm ever in the area, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
We haven't got to the point where we can like bring somebody out, but hopefully one
Once
day we get there.
Sponsors.
Yeah, once we get some good sponsors, and again, we're just gonna throw it back into the pod, man.
Yeah.
Whether it's nicer stuff, paying for a hotel stay, gas.
Dude, I mean, y'all got it rigged up in here. Like this is legit, you know. I've only done 2 podcasts. The other one was just like it was like a remote Zoom style. Yeah. Did it in my garage, kind of a thing. That was cool. It was great and fun. But yeah, dude, this is.
Just seen it earlier, bro. Did not look like
this. When we came in, it's always a mess in here because it's technically like their storage room. But
I was waiting for Joe Rogan to walk in and be like, all right, guys,
who the fuck was at my bar last night? So, dude, every podcast that we get to the end, because I like to put some info, we want to make sure that it is informational, at least a little bit, which you've given great information. But for anybody who feels uncomfortable asking or intimidated, what are just, 3 tips that you feel like have helped you become let's not only just do a better angler, so maybe 1 or 2 tips there, but also like somebody who may be, and I know you feel like, oh, I'm not there yet. We all suffer from that imposter syndrome, but dude, your content's making it, man. It is doing numbers.
Yeah.
What is a tip that you feel like you could give to somebody who maybe want to try to get better at social media, and also a tip or 2 on being a better kayak angler? Just something that you wish you knew a little sooner than you learned. For both. What do you think? And don't worry about time, man. We got nothing but time.
I mean, just being nothing beats time on the water. Nope. You know, nothing beats.
Albert preaches that.
Yeah, I mean, just keep practicing, keep casting. You know, keep doing it. You know, but I mean, being able to understand how to use a paddle properly, that's a big one too.
Yep.
'Cause positioning yourself in the right area. Being able to put that paddle in the water without making too big of a splash, being able to take, a small little stroke and you know that by the time you're done, you set your paddle down on your lap and you get ready to cast, you know that you're going to be exactly where you need to be. Or like a
correctional backstroke.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think about it anymore because obviously it's second nature, I'm sure to both of us. But setting yourself up position-wise to make a cast is a big deal.
Yeah, and just knowing, knowing where where that fish is going to be, at that particular time of the day, where its bait fish are, where, where it's going to want to sit and wait in ambush. I mean, you can almost, in some spots, you can almost call where them fish are gonna be.
We call those high percentage points.
Yeah. So, knowing where to do that, that really helps. That really helps. That's for sure.
So those are great fishing tips. Now, what about somebody who wants to be a little bit more, I guess you could say, artistic or just kind of get in the groove of social media? Because like I said, I know you may feel like, wait, what, me? Like, dude, you're finding a niche on social media, and again, the numbers show that. Like you can. What's cool about social media today is that they do give you analytics.
Yeah.
So you can,
to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, but it'll at least give you to where you're like, hey, I'm kind of on to something here. You know what I mean? Like, what works and what doesn't. So what would you say is something that, while I pull up some of your numbers here, I mean, let's see the top, man, obviously we pin our most successful ones, but you've got 35,
I haven't pinned all my successful ones, but the ones that I kind of like and shows a little bit of diversity. But it's so weird. Like, one of my most popular ones recently was literally just me, like, wading in the water. I'm leaning up against my boat, and I'm just telling, I the corniest little joke where I'm talking about like these little spots that hold water in my boat, and then like my topwater frogs like fit perfectly in them. And dude, it got like 1,500 likes, and it kept going for like 2 months. I kept getting notifications like, oh yeah, that one right there, that one right there, and I don't know why, but it's just me talking. And I'm just kind of like, and a lot of people were like, dude, that boat's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm not even showboating the boat. I'm just like, hey, look at this little spot where I could put my frogs to chill out. You know?
I think
and it's just like, yeah, so many people were like, dude, that's an awesome boat and this and that. And yeah, so
that's awesome. Again, you're finding your groove, man. I mean, that one's got 35
and there's no
5,000 views. I mean,
there's no viral, you know, audio to it. It's just me.
I think it's just you being real.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is. Just kind of be consistent, be real, and you know, you don't have to go out there and throw that trending audio on there. You don't have to, you know. I mean, it can be the silliest thing, but I mean, that's kind of where it's at, and it's worked for me.
Yeah.
Whether that's the right answer or not, I don't know.
No, I don't think there is a right answer. It's like, it seems like social media. You never know what's gonna
There's
no rhyme or reason to most things.
Yeah.
And I mean, then sometimes you're like, okay, I see why that worked, and then other times you're like, what the hell? Like, you wake up at 6 a.m. like, God damn, 4,000 notifications.
What's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, that's what's cool, man. I think it gives everybody. That's what's. I mean, I love. If I didn't, you know, if I wasn't self-employed, I think I definitely would have went into marketing because I love marketing.
Yeah.
I love that marketing will make or break you. Like marketing has kept my business afloat during the darkest times, you know, during the best times, during the worst time. Marketing, sales cure all. That's literally one of the business things that has been ingrained in my brain. Sales cures all. Yeah. And I mean, you get sales by marketing, you know. So I mean, dude, you're on to something, man. And one thing I wanted to say before we got out of here, look,
I got a few questions.
We were fucking wearing the PFDs.
Yeah.
Like I said, we had them on this whole, what are we running now? Hour 19?
Yeah, hour 19.
I mean, it's like nothing. Again, we spend all day on the water with them.
Yeah.
But again, guys, comfortability, spend a little bit of money, your life's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of curiosity, whenever you get into these whitewater scenarios, like where you're about to end up bombing like a rapid or whatever, do you ever have fear in your fucking mind? Is there anything you do like beforehand? Because like I don't like the water. I'm fucking terrified of alligators.
Yeah.
You know, on the drive over to the river, like I'm fucking, my anxiety, I'm anxious, like, you know, it's all at an all-time high. I'm fucking breathing heavily, you know. And is there anything you do to try to like combat that? Do you even do you even have any fear
dude.
Right before you are about to bomb like a rapid or whatever, like fuck, this might be it, I'm not too sure, you know, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah, like when I was talking about like doing like that Comal shoot, you know, like I had, you know, I've got cameras, you know, up here. I've got, you know, hundreds of dollars worth of rods everywhere. Like, that's what I'm thinking about is like, if I flip all this stuff, I'm going to have to look for it or somebody else is going to find it.
I'm going to have to look for it.
What that dude jigging with Jordan's going to find it? Scuba diving?
Right. Well, that's a good question.
But I keep a snorkel mask like at all times inside my boat, just in case, you know.
I gotta start doing that.
Yeah, like I've dropped I went fishing probably a month ago, and you know, I keep my phone right here. Sometimes, you know, I'll take it out and I'll take a quick video or I'll answer text or something, and then like I'll either put it back in here and forget to zip it, and it'll be like that or something. Or I'll set it on my lap because I'm about to pick it back up again, and then I don't remember. And then like, so yeah, I was out fishing. I was working my way up a river, and I get to a spot, and I'm like, "Where's my phone, dude?" And I'm like, "No!" I'm like, "Where is it?" I start looking around, and then I'm like, "All right, I had to get out here. I ran back down the bank, and I'm looking. I didn't find it. I get back up there. I'm like, oh wait, my GoPro's still going. And I'm there and I'm looking on my little LCD screen, right? And I'm like rewinding the footage. And sure enough, dude, I stand up, it's on my lap, and I kicked my rod, so it made noise with my rod, and I didn't see my phone. But in the corner of the camera, you see this lit up thing just bloop right into the water. And I'm like, oh, and I go running back to that spot, and I'm looking around. There's my phone right there. It's been sitting underwater for like 30 minutes.
And it was working?
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
I know rice, nothing. Yeah. I mean, it's an 11.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, yeah, they make these things almost, you know,
they're like IP67. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if it was like in 20 feet, that's different. But it was what, a few feet, a couple inches.
Yeah. It was in a spot where like I got up to a rapid and I got out to drag up it, and it just fell out and is right there, and I was like, this is why I have a red phone, okay? Because like, it's like this has happened a couple of times.
That is awesome, dude.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, what were we gonna say?
Oh, you're good.
No, I was gonna say, so like, do you do breathing exercises to try to combat that fear, or just running gun and say fuck it, let's go?
Yeah, I mean that can kind of help visualizing like where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
I mean, and knowing how the water is gonna pull your boat and like how fast you're gonna be going, all kind of stuff. I mean, you see a lot of like these famous, whitewater paddlers and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clips of them before they run a waterfall or something. They're standing on the edge and they're making the motions because they're visualizing themselves going down that rapid. But yeah, I mean, just scouting a rapid before you run it and just kind of knowing, where your boat's going to go. Okay, I need to take 2 paddle strokes here. I need to take 1 there, a backstroke here, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that you look at it as a task that needs to be tackled instead of like something that is, that something that could possibly go wrong.
I see.
But also, I mean, I'm not running crazy water, man. I got 2 kids at home.
Yep.
Have you had close calls?
Not really. I mean, like I said, I mean, I can if I'm upside down in a rapid and like in a boat.
Calculated risk.
Yeah, I'll you can get out of it pretty quickly. But there's a couple of times where like, you don't quite make that first roll and you go back, you barely get a breath, you're back down. And then when you finally come up, you're like gasping. You're like, well, that was kind of close. Another millisecond and I would have been swallowing water. But yeah, I mean, dude, I mean, just kind of visualizing is where I'd put it at for sure.
Are you by yourself when you do these things?
No.
Probably somebody's gonna be thinking that.
Yeah, no. I mean, when you're running water like that, I mean, you definitely want to have somebody with you. I mean, I spend a lot of time by myself when I'm just kayak fishing.
Yeah.
And
I always give this dude shit about it.
But it's like no, my phone's always got location shared with my wife. She knows where I'm going every time. I'm wearing this. My phone's like she makes fun of me. Like she's like, why do you keep your phone in there? You keep dropping it and all that kind of stuff. It's like if I fall out on my boat, and you ping my location. You're gonna find my boat. You ain't gonna find me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Exactly. So it's like, it's better to have it, on me in that kind of scenarios to have like a little bit of I think they call it like, having a float plan. Letting people know where you're going. So yeah, if anybody's going fishing, y'all need to let me know where you're going. That's fine. So.
Hey, the way you said that too, man, about scouting.
You gotta let me know where you're going. Like, post it up. You got a Garmin, post it up on there on Strava.
Yeah. When you mentioned scouting, man, that's a big one. I remember when we were running the bigger rapids. Whenever we did our boys trip, when we did our boys trip on the Pecos, I remember that like some of the bigger ones. Yeah, we got out. We as a group got to a vantage point where we could see, saw, and was like, okay, here. But what's funny is I think I made probably my favorite most, dude, I fucking wrote it down, fucking, what are they called? What are those like poems that are, well, I'm dropping the joke, but I wrote a beautifully written thing finally, right, with all my damn misspelled and typos. But I had talked about how like we had scouted out the perfect run. And then as soon as we hit it, all that shit went out the window. It was just fucking like life, bro. Oh, yeah. You can set a plan, blah, 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 blah. But again, though, we did have a game plan going into it. Yeah. Like, hey, we're going to try to hit here, hit here, hit here, hit here. But when I did that rapid, bro, I went, did this, did that, got pinned sideways, stayed for a second, shoved off, had a new track. It's just like life. But it's one of those things where, yes, you definitely want to take, the time to get it to a vantage point, do all that, check all that shit and all that. And then real quick before we wrap up, I almost forgot to talk about it. The guys here at Outdoor Alphas wanted me to talk about on the pod. You mentioned I need to find my rod. I'm gonna need to get it. If you dump. Well, guys, we are back into. We've heard that you've been wanting an affordable combo here in the store, and they've got a bunch now. They are spinning reels. They're great beginner rods for children and adults who are just getting into the sport, and they're under $75. So if you get a Sienna 2500 HG with the matching Sojourn Shimano pole, I think this reel is $65, and if you mention the podcast, they'll take off $10. So you could head out of here and get to on the water with a spinning combo for $55. You can't beat that. Again, this is not going to be something you want to take to the jetties and you're going to land a, bull red, but this is definitely something to get out on the water, teach a kid, learn yourself, or if you just want something that doesn't break the bank. I mean, this is a nice 6-foot rod, 2,500 spinning reel. I think it's got like 11 pounds of drag, 6.62 to 1 gear ratio. And it's just an all around affordable, good combo. It's a starter combo. So guys, mention Unpacking Yakin, you get $10 off, not 10%, $10 off. So you're saving more than 10% and you're out the door under $60. Alrighty, guys. So anything else?
Yeah, just be sure to limit the amount of people buying that, because Sam was gonna have a heart attack if he ends up outselling those things, and he had to lost like $1,000 on it.
Right. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you on the next one, man. Peace out.
I was kidding. Bye.
I was kidding. Bye.